big on blood work. I've been real big on tracking my numbers, supplementation. I've been really big on some peptides, like for myself, just in my own life. And so let's say I found a company that was doing that. I would be talking about my journey, and I've been looking for something that holistically helped me in my health. And I hadn't found it in 47 years. I've had the ups and downs with my diet, the ups and downs with sometimes I'm motivated to go to the gym, sometimes I'm not. I had seasons that are busy with my 4 kids. Energy levels shot up. And I didn't know a lot of the things they told me. It's always about just health and nutrition and exercise. And those are important, but they started to help me understand specific things that were customized to my body and myself. And now at 47 years old, my metabolic age says I'm 35. I've lost 35 pounds. And so I'm showing them that I understand what it's like to be in their shoes, but I'm taking them to a place that they desire, and I'm pinning us against them, meaning everything I've learned for 47 years, I finally found the thing that's going to help me. And now I'm on a mission to help 1,000 people in the next 5 years, in the next 3 years, dial in their optimized health the same way that I've been able to. And so that's a perfect example, guys, of something.
Hey, Pete, do you copy?
All right, guys, I'm going to get rolling here in just a second. And I don't know if you just heard what I said around health. Like if I were building a health talk, I would literally talk about a story of me wrestling and struggling with health all my life, and busyness of life and family and ups and downs and yo-yo dieting, and sometimes feel like I have to work out 40 hours a week in order to actually sustain my health and lose the weight. And then I got introduced to this incredible system, not product, system, that for why I didn't know about this system for 47 years of my life. And you can see my weight went down, my strength went up, my blood work went up, every negative thing that was going on, including my metabolic age, went down significantly. I'm 47 and it shows me at 37. And you can see what happened. And I was blown away because I wished I would have known this system for the last 5 years. Last 47 years, excuse me. Like that's me showing an example of a before and after, and then me saying I am committed to helping 1,000 people do the same thing that I have been able to do with my health, and make them aware of something that they might have never known is the right way, that's customized to them and not a cookie cutter approach. So that would be an example of the story, an example of the BHAG. I hope you've got some notes down, because I'm going to be talking to you, the live audience, in between, because everybody else is pausing me and doing the work, but I can talk to you in between. I'm about to go back into my mode here. And the team helped me out with something a lot. So thank you, team. And I'm about to get back into the presentation. All right. I hope you wrote some things down. I hope you took some notes. I hope that you are beginning the process where this opening heart can be the thing that connects you with people, puts their guards down, helps them understand there is a gap and that you've got the solution to that gap for them. That leads us to the second part. Now, for all of you teachers out there, and Eric Worre is one of those teachers. He is. He's one of those teachers. He loves to teach. Do you know what makes a great presenter? 3 things. I want to say this, and I didn't say this at the beginning. Somebody who is inspirational, somebody that's a great teacher, and somebody that's not scared to make a call to action. Because that's where people's lives are transformed. Believe it or not, they're never transformed by your talk, your teaching, your inspiration. They're transformed whenever they actually take action. And so those 3 things make a great, great, great presenter. And by the way, there's only about 2% of those in the world. And now going through presentation mastery, you get to put yourself in that bucket because this opening heart is the inspiration part. The opening heart and the closing heart are the inspirational part. We're helping you inspire, motivate, and get the people excited. But now as we go into the head, that's the teaching part. That's where you get to educate. We're not teasing them, we're teaching them. And so in the head, the thing that you're about to do is you're going to close the gap that you just left them behind in the opening heart. You're going to help them with 3 to 5 steps. Some people will do 7. You start getting to 10 or 12, it's too much. I love 3 to 5. 3 to 5 is the sweet spot. 3 to 5 steps that will help them close the gap. That's the teaching. If you do this, and this, and this, and this, you will see yourself move from ordinary to extraordinary. These 3 to 5 steps are what we actually call your proprietary process. Your proprietary process. And there is a lot of people that do what you do, but there's nobody that does it the way that your products, your companies do it. So your proprietary process are the 3 to 5 steps that are going to help them move from ordinary to extraordinary. And this is what I want you to be thinking about. I'm going to show you a couple of examples here in a minute of incredible proprietary processes. But I want you to start thinking about what are the steps that can help them close the gap from moving from here to there. So let me give you a few. If I were delivering a talk that was around health, which is the one I would probably be the most excited about because I'm on a health journey, I would probably, my steps would look something like this. And we got to design a guy by the name of Gary Brecka's talk around his health products, and he had the highest closing conversion rate on Grant Cardone stage ever. Ever. And he has that type of results everywhere he goes because people needed to understand the system. So I would say something like this. The first thing that's critical to incredible health is no longer buying into cookie cutter approaches and what everybody in the world says. Do you realize that your body and your DNA is custom to you and only you, and there will never be another you? And the things going on inside and outside and within your mind are completely unique to only one person in this world, and that's you. So why does health take this cookie cutter approach that this will work for everybody? The first thing that you've got to do is begin to get your blood work. That's where it all starts. Is if you begin to get your blood work, it's going to tell you everything that you need to know about you. The second thing, I'm going through the steps, guys. The second thing, as you get that blood work, now you can begin to build a protocol around the supplements and the peptides that will work for you and the deficiencies that are going on inside of you. If I were in a company with supplements and peptides, this would be the time that I'm plugging my people are like, ooh, if I get my blood work, and then that's the second phase, that's incredible. And I would probably throw in something, the third thing, and it is important. It's very important. And I'm coupling these two because you keep hearing them all your life. Your nutrition and your exercise are critical. But that's what you've heard your entire life, and that's not the only thing that will change the game for you. And I would go on to figure out 4 or 5 steps that will help people move from here to here, but also that will help them come into my world as a customer within my company that I'm in the network marketing profession. And so what I want you to do right now is I want you to be thinking about, we call it your proprietary process. We call it your framework. You can call it your system. Your system. You can call it any of those. But right now in your workbook, what I want you to do is to start mapping out what are the steps. And maybe you map out 7 to 10 and you go back and narrow them down to 3 to 5 later. But what are the 7 to 10 steps that you have seen impact you through your company with their products? What are those steps? I want you to start naming them. Because here's a few examples of proprietary process right here. Here is actually Eric Worre's proprietary process for this certification training that you're watching right now. And we helped Eric make it, he's always known it and he's always taught it, but we put it in a process that made it make sense. And it's probably the reason why you're here today is you saw that process and said, oh my gosh, I want to master all 5 of those presentations. The 5 presentations every network marketer should master. Here's another example of a process. And some of you are students of ours in Stage to Scale. This is a process right here. These are the 4 things that you've got to do to use stages to build your business. It's an example of a process. Like I said, there's a lot of people that do what you do. But there's nobody that does it the way that you do it. Nobody. And so what I want you to be thinking about today is I want you to be thinking about that process. What are those steps for you? The first thing that you need to be outlining in this is the 3 to 5 steps. And if you start outlining 7 to 10, that's okay, but start outlining the 3 to 5 steps that are going to help close the gap for people. The second thing I want you to be outlining is actually with those steps, and you might not get to this one right now, and you might, but as you get clear on your steps, one of the most powerful things that you can do with each of those steps is either give a case study or some type of data evidence that proves it. We taught this to Gary Brecka, and it changed the game. He was giving a lot of case studies, a lot of heartfelt things that appealed to the right brain, emotional feeler person. He would give a case study, and people would feel good. But unfortunately, only 70% of people are right-brained. 30% are more analytical. And so the opposite side for those analytical buyers is to give them some type of data that proves the evidence and supports the thing that you just taught in your process. So with each step of the process, we want you to have a case study or data that can support it after you teach it. Now, that's a little bit of advanced strategy, but we want you to do that. And then the last part is name your process or create a cool little infographic around it. I showed you Eric's, we created that. I showed you ours, we created that. This one was called the Stage to Scale process. This was called the 5 presentations every network marketer should master. I know it's long. And we had an infographic around it. And you've seen it a lot, and it's probably the reason you're here. And so what I want you to do is I want you to push pause. We're halfway there. We got 2 more, and we'll be done. And hopefully you'll have the initial mapping out of things. But I want you to push pause, and I want you to be thinking about several steps. Just start thinking them. How did you close the gap? How did your products and services and company help you close the gap from moving from ordinary to extraordinary? And if it's not you yet, how has it done it for other people in your upline? I want you to do that. I want you to be thinking about that. And I want you to be thinking about these other 2 things as well that we talked about, naming the process and really outlining that and getting clear on the couple of things that I just taught you. So push pause, do that for a few minutes, and we will continue to go to the call to action, which is one of my favorite things. All right, everybody watching, I want to give you 5 minutes. You'll start seeing that the opening heart is the most. The head, there'll be less teaching as we go through. The opening heart is the critical piece. It's the connection piece, because most of you can teach. But what I want you to do is I want you to get clear. I'm going to bring these 3 up right here. I want you to just start mapping out some steps. I want you to start mapping out some steps. If you can think about a case study of somebody within your company, or some data that's been shown, you can put that next to each step. And then as you see this kind of holistically, you can start to name your process, your system, your framework, whatever you want to call it. And then later on, you can go get a cool little designer for $25 to design you something really cool that makes it look attractive as you present it. I'm telling you, Eric doesn't know this, but the percentage of increase was somewhere around 20 to 30% more for presentation mastery, just because of him not just teaching the 5 things, but us putting the 5 things into a process. That's Eric Worre's proprietary process. He's been teaching it forever, but we began to demonstrate it and show it and help you understand it's the gap to you being an average to below average presenter to becoming a great presenter is mastering those 5 things. So I hope you can see that. I want you to do a little bit of work. I'm going to give you a few minutes, and then we're going to pop into the 3rd and the 4th, and we'll bring it full circle. Do the work. We got 2 more segments left. Do the work. I'm going to pop into room 2 and see what they're doing out there right now. See my room 2. Make sure that they're working. Good job, Claudia. I see Claudia doing the work. See Cheryl doing the work. Good job, Bobby. Mm. All right, I'm going to give you just a few more seconds here, and I'm going to speak to the live audience today because as soon as I go back into it, we're going to be talking about the call to action. Remember, this is a talk that you're giving one to many. Remember, next week, this next week, you'll get a deck where you actually have the slide-by-slide presentations that I use in all of my presentations. And listen, the greater you get, the less slides that you need to use. Like Lisa Nichols needs to use no slides. She's so great. She's so powerful. But I'm telling you, if there were one slide that I would have, it's that proprietary process. It's that proprietary process. It really is. And I'm going to leave the room right now because I can hear myself, because people can see, they're like, if they understand that's the thing between them of where they're at and them of where they go, I'm gonna differ from some people. Stories do sell. I agree with that. But a proven proprietary process is the thing that puts people over the top. It puts them over the edge. So I know people say process don't sell, but I'm telling you, a proven process does sell. I'm tired of the last 47 years of a process that didn't work for my health. And you're telling me you found something and you understand all the pain points that I've walked through and you found something that actually works? Yes, I bought into the person, but if the person couldn't show me something proven that could actually get me the results I desire, I won't buy anything from them. And that's the case for most people. So I want you to be thinking about that. And the other thing I want to talk to the live audience, one of the biggest mistakes people make is they only speak to the right brain. If they're right brain, they only speak to the left brain if they're left brain. My son is right here. He's analytical. My stories don't move him to tears. Like data and science is the thing that connects with him. Evidence. So if you're that left brain and all you're doing is speaking left brain, you're leaving 70% of your audience out. If you're right brain and you're only speaking the right brain, you're leaving 30% of your audience out from actually connecting with them. That's the purpose of the case study. That's the purpose of data. So I love that. All right, we're going to get back into live mode. We got 2 more and we'll be done here. All right, welcome back. I hope you did that work. Yes, stories sell, but a proven process, a proven system supercharges sales. I'm telling you, I've outsold most people online. Like I'm in the top 1 to 2% of probably people. That's just a subjective feeling. But it's not just from stories alone. It's from stories coupled with a proven process that can move them from where they're at to where they desire to be. And that's what you just began to work on. And I want you to continue to develop that. So now we've spent some time on that opening story. We've taught them how to close the gap. Now we want to give a call to action. We want to give a call to action. Now, a call to action is, remember, if you're giving your signature talk on a podcast, or you're giving your signature talk on a local stage of 100 entrepreneurs, you want to capture those people's information, and you want to give them a free gift. Write this down. You want to give them a free gift that will help them get a quick win. Give them a free gift that will help them get a quick win in their life. That's not a digital book. That's not a 3-hour training. It's a checklist. It's a shortcut. It's a blueprint. It's something of the sort that can help them get a quick win in their lives. Let me give you some examples in all buckets, in all 3 buckets really quickly here, because this is where you capture their information. And in capturing their information, they're also telling you that they're interested to become a customer or a distributor, because your free gift needs to connect back to the fact that they would want your products, your services, or your business opportunity. Those two have to be in alignment. And so I heard a guy speak. Let me give you a few examples of free gifts, and then I want you to think about a free gift that you could drop in your presentation, and you give them a place, either a URL or a text code, to go get this free gift. And if you're in person, I have the data on this. If you will give a little card on their seat and with a cool infographic of the free gift that they're getting. We actually did this with Ed Milet. And you give them a card, and it shows like this beautiful infographic of the free gift, and it asks them to fill out their information. You'll be shocked. We did this with Damon John. 60 to 80% of the room will actually give you that card in a physical event. Do you realize if you're in a room of 1,000 people, you just collected 600 to 800 warm leads? If you're in a room of 500 people, you've collected 300 to 400 warm leads. If you're only in a room of 100 people, you've now got 60 to 80 unbelievable leads to follow up with. Some of you that have big teams, this could become a lead generation for your best leaders. So let me give you a few examples of some really good ones, because as we begin to do the workshop time, I want you to think about a free gift. So let me tell you about my free gift. If I were teaching around creating better health, I would probably say, hey, I have my Rolodex of exactly where you can buy your blood work. Once you get that done, exactly where I get my peptides and my supplements, and it's the best company that exists out there. And I've got my Rolodex of where you can actually get a one-on-one kind of health consulting call that will allow you to kind of map out your blueprint so that you can have optimal health. And so I'd give them a Rolodex. Check this out. The Rolodex, it might be an affiliate link for some place that does blood work. It would be my company's place of where they can go buy their supplements and their peptides. And it would be and I'm going to give them a one-on-one health consulting call in 20 minutes. We'll map out their journey to help them go from where they're at to where they want to be, or a 15-minute call. And now people will go download that Rolodex right away because they're like, oh my gosh, I bought into everything they taught me. I want that. Here's a few more examples. I want to get your brain spinning because we're about to workshop this too. Here are examples of people who I've downloaded from. I downloaded from somebody in the health space. He was talking about that David Goggins' #1 habit. And Eric, I didn't know this, is stability and flexibility. Like David Goggins stretches for like an hour a day, and nobody in David Goggins won't give any products or services to teach you his stretch routine. Literally, you want to know David Goggins' secret sauce outside of his mindset? It's his stretching. And so this guy's got us all, the whole room, bought into stretching. We're like, wow. And he goes, let me demonstrate it to you. And then this is called the free gift demonstration. This is actually demoing it in the room for them to see that it works. He told us to do this and go as far to the right as we can and identify where we ended because of this. And then he had us do some type of stretch that I had never done, some type of weird stretch, everybody in the room stretching. And now everybody in the room went significantly further with that stretch. He said, those are the things you don't know. I've got 7 stretches that can do that for you every day, and it'll take you 5 to 7 minutes to do. The whole room downloaded it. The whole room downloaded it. How about another guy by the name of Garrett? He talked about the Augusta rule and how most people are not saving money on their taxes when they didn't even know the Augusta rule existed. He said, how many of you are using the Augusta, to a group of business owners, how many of you are using the Augusta rule? And like 2 hands went up in the room. He said, every one of you could be using it. It could be putting $10,000 to $30,000 back in your pocket of taxes every year. And he began to explain it. We're like, whoa. And then he had us download the step-by-step of how to use the Augusta rule. Quick win, quick win. Relationships. There's a guy that said, hey, it's hard to be a parent today, to know what's going on in pop culture, technology, multimedia. So one of the things that we do here as he was sharing his keynote, is we become the research and development arm for you as parents. And we have this thing called the Culture Translator. And every week you get it and you can read it in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And in that, you will know everything that's happening in your teen's life that week. They were like the first people out there to teach parents what Netflix and chill meant back in the day when that first was a term. And if you don't know that today, you probably need to subscribe to this Culture Translator. So it became the shortcut for parents to understand their teenagers. And immediately when you downloaded it, they tried to upgrade you to like a $99 a month membership site, reoccurring membership site. And I downloaded it. And so what I want you to be thinking about in this heart, in this hands, is I want you to be thinking about a few things. I'm going to pause, guys, for a second because this is going really slow. So let me pause. So what I want you to be doing in this call to action is I want you to be thinking about one call to action. You can't have many calls to action in a presentation. And so that's the first thing, one call to action. And for most of you, it might be free. It might be free, but for some of you listening, you might have a sample where somebody can get a sample for $1. So you send them and they get a sample for $1 or get a sample sent for shipping and handling of something that you've talked about in your presentation. So it's either free or it's paid, but it's not both. And it's either free or it's paid, but it's not both. And for most of you listening to this, it will be free. It'll be free. And I want you throughout the course of as you teach, I want you to begin to embed in those case studies that we talked about examples of people who have used this or who have done it or who have won because of it. And now when you get to it, they've heard these case studies throughout the course of you teaching. So what I want you to do is I want you to take a few minutes and I want you to actually map out what is that free gift that you're going to give away as your call to action that you will share. And in the PowerPoint presentation that you get from us, you will know exactly the moment to share that free gift with your audience on any stage that you're on. So we're 3/4 of the way there. I want you to do this. I want you to map it out for a little bit. And I'm going to give you 4 minutes. Excuse me. Sorry. I want you to pause me right now, and I want you to map that out and continue building out this talk. And once you press play again, we will come back to the final piece of the StoryBrand framework. All right, everybody, I want you to take 4 minutes to map this out. I'm having to navigate Evergreen and making sure I'm living in Evergreen. We got one piece left, but I have literally my 3 gifts. A lot of people pay for leads. And most people in the market have to pay anywhere from $8 on the low end to $25 on the high end for their leads. I haven't had to pay for leads. I've generated hundreds of thousands of leads from stages. From one of Eric and Marina's stages, this is how powerful those stages are. I generated 7,000 leads from one stage of Eric and Marina's, from giving a free gift that supported Eric's offer. And so I want you to be thinking about what that free gift is, because now all of a sudden you're not paying. And you've got the warmest leads who heard you speak. So make sure you do a little bit of work, and we'll be right back for the last piece. All right, we got a couple minutes left. Do a little bit of work. And if you have to catch up, and listen, for some of you that might move fast, you've probably mapped things out and everything. Some of you that might be moving a little bit slower, it's okay if you're spending more time on one place. I just want you to get some type of mapping out of this talk, a rough draft that we will continue to get better on and better on and better on. All right, here we go. I'm going to go back into evergreen mode. All right, welcome back. We're at the fourth quarter. We just got done with the call to action. I hope you mapped out the call to action. There's some different examples that I gave you in all of the buckets, but this one free gift can become a lead generator to help you generate dozens, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, or for me, it's been hundreds of thousands of leads over my career that I didn't have to pay a penny for. Do you realize a lot of people in the internet marketing space will pay $8 to $30, $40 a lead, and it's just somebody scrolling? And you have the ability to pay nothing for a lead, and somebody scrolling is a cold lead, a lukewarm lead, but you've got a lead that's warm to hot because they've heard your story, they've heard your teaching, and they downloaded something from you for a free gift. Like, think about the power of that. Think about the power of that. And so I really want to encourage you to continue to develop that, take that serious, and you'll start adding another gift and another gift, some type of free gift that's so valuable to them that they want to give you their information and basically raise their hand as a prospect. But listen, as Eric says all the time, we have to close it off most powerful in the fourth quarter. I want you to be a Tom Brady with your signature talk. I don't know if Tom Brady has the most comeback wins in NFL history, but man, he had a lot. And he did it all the time against my team. And he closed a game strong. I want you to close the game strong. And so I want you to end how you started with a closing story. And I'm going to give you an example of a closing story, but what is that closing story that's going to help your prospect or the people listening to say, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I needed to hear. This is exactly what I need. There's a story in you that can do that. And that's what I want you to be thinking about. This closing story. We start with inspiration. We move to teaching. We then go to the call to action. And then we close with inspiration and motivation. Remember, the three things that make a great presenter is being able to do all three. That's my belief. And I've never heard anybody teach that. If you're inspiring and motivating, it's great. It's shallow. If you're teaching and giving, it's boring. If you're call to action, salesy. But when you bring all three together, it's transformation. It's transformation. So we want you to close with a powerful story. And I'm going to close with my powerful story in a minute, but I want you to be thinking about a few things. I want you to be thinking about really three core things within this closing heart. I want you to be thinking about, remember, you just gave your call to action, but it was a tactical call to action. The hands part was the tactical. You gave them a free gift in exchange for their information. That's tactical. But your closing heart is your emotional. Remember, two buyers, right brain, left brain, tactical, emotional. Well, now we want you to close with your emotional close. The second thing we want you to do is to summarize your content. I'm going to demonstrate this for you here in just a minute because I want you to go do the same thing. And then the last thing we want you to do is close with inspiration. And this is a story, write this down, that reinforces the importance of everything you've taught. Everything you've taught. That's how you close it out strong. So I want you to do a little bit of work on this. We don't have to take a lot of time, but this is something how I would do. I would show my proprietary process. I would say, and so I've taught you the 4 steps to using stages to grow your business. And we've went through all 4 of them. And you've seen the case studies and the data and everything that proves the importance of why you need to be on stages. That's me summarizing my content with my proprietary process. For Eric, it'd be the 5 presentations. But watch that. I just summarized my content, and I want you to see me go into this closing story here. I was one of the biggest people to generate the most sales in GrowthCon history at Grant Cardone's Miami Marlins Stadium event back in 2019 or 2019. And I was on the 3rd day when the crowd had dropped off by 10,000 people, and I outsold everybody. And I believe my closing story was a huge part of that, because not only did I summarize the content, this is what I did. I said, this is what I've done since. I got the chance to be on Grant Cardone's stage, and I couldn't believe it. I used tools to win the stage. I was the one person that nobody knew on this stage. You look at this list of people and you know everybody on it. You know John Maxwell, Steve Harvey, all of these big time people that you recognize. But as my uncles and I got to step out of the story for a minute and tell you that at the beginning, my opening story was how my dad was a very abusive dad. But when I was 23 years old, he heard a speaker speak, and it was the thing that asked my dad to give me ask for a second chance and apologize for the abusive dad that he was growing up to me. My grandmother, his mom, took me away from him. But a speaker on a stage sharing their story was that changed my dad's heart to finally apologize to me when I was 23 years old. Okay? So they had heard this story. And so I'm on the stage and there's all these big people and I'm super nervous. And I'm the only person who reached out to Grant to win the stage. All of the other people you see on there, he reached out to them. That's the power of the system I just taught you. Is you can proactively reach out to stages, not be known, and be on the biggest stages in the world. Why? Because you have a powerful talk that will serve their audience. And so I'm sitting there, and my aunts, my uncles, and my wife are going all around the stadium. And the one thing they hear all through the 3 days is, who is that guy? Nobody in there recognized that guy. He was the one guy they didn't know. But little did they know, that guy, that day, was responsible for not only making an impact in that stadium, but seeing 1,000 new customers come into his world that day and generating multiple 7 figures in 1 hour. Maybe you can't be on a stage that big. Maybe you're on a stage of 50 or 100 or 500 or 1,000 or a podcast or a live stream or GoPro. But what I can tell you is that if you will use everything that I've taught you, when you get that opportunity, you will see more customers and more distributors than you've ever seen in your life. And the coolest part of that story, and the coolest part of that day for me, is that day, as I was closing my presentation, they brought my dad up on the big screen. And my dad was in tears because I opened talking about this terrible, abusive dad who apologized to me. And now as I'm closing my story out on GrowthCon, I'm talking about the dad who's not only an awesome dad, but an incredible grandfather, because of one person sharing their story from a stage. Had that person not been bold and courageous to share a signature talk that day, my dad would have never heard him, and it would have never changed his life. Do you realize the power you have by taking this signature talk structure and transforming many people's lives just like my dad? And so that is, I'm giving you, I just shared a story around me sharing a talk on a stage, which is reinforcing all the content that I taught. And then I'm driving it home by saying, my dad would have never changed if it would have been for somebody like you. So get your messages on stories. Or get your message on stages, excuse me. So this is what I want to do. I want to take 3 minutes. And 3 minutes max. What is that closing story? And you might have to use somebody else's story, or you might be able to use yours. But what is that closing story that can reinforce everything you taught in your signature talk? I want to take 3 minutes. I want you to pause. And when you come back, I'm gonna conclude this part of presentation mastery. All right, guys, 3 minutes. And I got something special for all of you that are still here live, and then I'll be bringing Mr. Worry back here in just a few minutes, in just a few short minutes. So finish this, let's do this workshop time, and then I'm gonna dive into to kind of close this out. Just be thinking about something powerful, some type of thing that will reinforce it, that will have them want to take action. I love a story that reinforces what I taught. My colleague, Pat Quinn, loves a story that creates urgency. A time in your life where there was urgency, or why the right time is now. He'll share a story that kind of creates that urgency, or why the time is right now, or a time that he missed out on something great by not taking action. So there's different stories you can share, and some of the stuff, everything that Lisa teaches can be applicable here too, to that front end and that back end heart. But remember, people's hearts, they want to feel connected and inspired. And so this is your opportunity to close it out strong. About 2 more minutes. About a minute, and I'm going to go right into it so I can get. Cool. All right, thank you for doing the work. I know this is a little bit different. I wanted to teach each of these 4 parts. I wanted to give you examples of each of these 4 parts, and then I wanted you to actually go do the work. And I know we've done the work in silos of these 4 parts right here, of the StoryBrand framework. This is a proven framework that has been responsible for helping our clients generate billions of dollars in customers and distributors. And now you get the 4 pieces. And the thing I want you to do is I want you to continue to do more work around it. We just started the workshopping time today. Continue to develop it in your workbook. And then the cool thing is you can take your workbook and you can take it to the deck, the Signature Talk deck. That is the exact deck that I use for my talks and the exact deck that I've used to write people's talks. And they pay me $100,000 to write their talks. And they've one-on-one and have done it many of times. That's the deck you have. with instructions on how to use it. But I want to make sure you do the work in the workbook, and then you can evolve it into that. Because it does not take, I know my Grant Cardone story is a big story, but it does not take a big stage. Just look at Amy Yamada. Amy Yamada was not on a big stage. And look what she generated from a few dozen people. Not even. Like, that's the power. Grant Cardone told me this, but he also told his daughters this. If you will master communication, yes, signature talk, but all 4 of the presentations that Eric and Lisa and me have helped you get certified in, you can do anything in this world. You can become the top income earner in your company, or you could just have it replace your lifestyle expenses and change the game for you, or whatever else you want to do. And what's the power of the signature talk is it helps you take your story and your message one to many. You see, one of the greatest investors in the world invested in a course like this, in a certification like this. His name is Warren Buffett. Do you realize that he actually got certified in presenting? And he almost quit because the fear of speaking? True story. And when he went through the process, he said, just by getting better at this, you will increase the value of your business and your company by 50%. Man, Warren, if you'd have just went through Eric Worre and Lisa and myself certification, you'd probably be twice your net worth today. No, I'm just joking. But I want you to see the power of what one of the greatest investors of all time said. And I want you to know that it didn't start that way for me. That was me on the left, sharing my story for the first time, 2 minutes long, scared to death. And then you see the guy on the right, 1,000 new customers in 1 hour. That possibility exists for you on whatever scale that you want it to. If I can do it, you can do it. And what I told you is I want you to design one signature talk that you can begin to use on stages everywhere. And I hope that you will continue to finish the work, get the outline done, take it to the deck, and begin to take it out on stages. All right, guys, I am done. And I hope that all of you live got the chance and got the opportunity. And I'm gonna check in on you in room 2 right here. I hope you got the chance and opportunity. And I'm probably 15, 20 minutes from bringing Eric right back up. Tell me your biggest takeaway. Tell me your biggest aha. I want to see it in the notes. That's what I want to see. There was something bonus that we planned. I'm going to do it really quickly here so we can turn it back over to Mr. Worre here in just a second. But let me see you. I'm going into Avio. I want to know your biggest takeaways, your biggest aha. Did you get some of the work done? Did you get a lot of the work done? That's important to me. And remember, you're going to be getting, now this isn't for certification. That's why I'm doing this. It's for you live. It's one of the perks of you being live. But I want to see, I'm going to go look at the comments there. Vulnerability, all of it. My story. Cool. That's incredible. I'm seeing you guys. Y'all see me? Y'all see me? Bobby, is that helpful? All right. I got 2 rooms. Room 1, certification, mentorship. I want to remind you of something. And here in about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I'm going to remind you of something that's super important. And so this is what we're going to do. We are going to give you, Marina, I'm going to ask for forgiveness later. We're going to give you my talk from GoPro where I spent 65 minutes helping people understand how to take their talk and build a personal brand. That is a gift that we're going to give to you guys because I don't want to take too much time on what I'm about to do. But I got a little bit of a surprise and delight, or for most of the certification people, a little bit of a reminder to you of something that's coming up. The reason we want you to get good with your personal story, the reason we want you to get good with your talk is because many of you are going to have the opportunity to be on the GoPro stage, but all of you in certification and mentorship will be on the GoPro stage. And I bet you all of you in room 2 who are in my pocket right now did not know that. And so the reason why this certification matters is because we're going to record your highlight reel on the GoPro stage. And you'll see what that means. And so one of the things that Eric and Marina wanted me to talk about really quickly, and then I'm going to bring Eric up here and we'll give you the talk, is the talk that I did was the 5 ways to build your personal brand. 5 ways. And I shared this last week with you guys, but in all of those people you see right there, I've been responsible for helping them build their personal brand in one way or another around our Stage to Scale methodology. And so what are those 5 ways? I'm going to tell you in 5 minutes, and then you can see the later talk. The first thing is you got to become a good communicator. We spent all day on that. No need to spend any more time on that. You know, Grant said it's the most important thing that you can do, and I believe it. But that is the number one thing to build your personal brand. The second thing that you've got to do to build your personal brand is you've got to build your credibility. Eric and Marina have done an incredible job. Lisa Nichols has done an incredible job. You've got to build your credibility. You've got to have other people saying good things about you. That's how you build your personal brand. Look at what some of these people have said about me. And I have a long list, but so does Eric. The third way that most of you aren't doing today in building your personal brand, and remember, I'm rolling through this fast because I want Eric to close us out, but the third way is you've got to begin to see your social media have a makeover. The top leaders in Eric's Next Level Mastermind are speaking on stages, are sharing their story, and are dominating and doing very well on social media. How many of you have great traction, generating leads, have a great movement on social media today? Yes or no? I mean, Mr. Worry does across many platforms. The fourth thing that you've got to begin to do is actually build some content. It's one thing to have a talk, story, these 5 presentations, but in order for people to come into your world, you've got to have some content that you're putting out there on a consistent basis. And the last thing, and Eric, I hope all of them will take this to the stage of what I'm about to share with them, and I've shared this in great detail, is you've got to go put yourself on stages. On stages. And once again, in the talk, it goes through the details of how you put yourself on stages, but I want to just show you this quadrant as a reminder of the types of stages that I want you on. I want you on other people's digital and physical stages, and I want you on your own digital and physical stages. I'm going to tell you what, I believe this with my whole heart. Anybody listening, you want to become a 6, 7, 8-figure earner in network marketing, have a check mark in all 4 of those quadrants. Have a check mark in all 4 of those quadrants. For Eric today, this is quadrant 3. For Pete today, it's quadrant 1. Have a check mark in all 4 of those and watch what begins to happen. And so I want you to watch that talk. I really do. I want you to watch the talk where I actually go and break down these 5 in great detail, because I do break them down in great detail. But the thing I want you to say today, in all of certification and all of mentorship, I want to remind you today that one of the cool things that you get with GoPro is you actually, in your certification and mentorship, is you actually get the branding day. You get the entire branding day as part of your certification and mentorship. And I want to make sure you have that on your calendar, because it's an $8,900 day where we're going to build your 1-minute talk. You're going to share it on the GoPro stage. We're going to capture it on video, and it's going to become a powerful sizzle reel for you to have on a powerful stage. And if you're there virtual, we'll have ways that we do that virtual. We're going to map out your content and do a social media makeover for you for an entire year. We're going to actually interview you and have an article written about you so that it gives you credibility in your space, with your friends, with your prospects, with your leads. We're going to take that talk and help make it a speaker reel. And we're going to allow you to be a part of the Speak Off. This is the first ever GoPro branding day, and all of you in certification and mentorship are actually getting access to that. And so today, I just want to remind you guys, and I'm going to turn it over to Eric, everybody in room 2 with me that actually can see me right now, in room 2, I really want to encourage you to be a part and step into GoPro certification. Has today been amazing? Like room 2, in room 2, has today been amazing? Scale of 1 to 10. And I know there's a lot, and I know there's a lot of notes and a lot of information, but this is only like 1/10 of the program. It's only 1/10 of the program. And so I want to encourage you. This thing is moving really slow for me, guys, the clicker here, and I'm glad we're not doing the certification, but I don't know why it's not moving. There we go. If you're not in the certification, this is the Warri's flagship program. Not only do you master presentation, you master the 6 core skill sets. Eric said if people become masters in these 6, you don't just get the live trainings for all of these, you get the lifetime access for these, and you get the opportunity to master all of them. And there's 4 major components to certification. There's the mastery of the certification, and this can just be a second because many of you haven't seen this. There's the mastery of all 6. There is actually and I wish I could blow this up bigger, guys. Oh, man. And this is why I wanted to be in the studio, but I couldn't today. And I'm glad this is not part of the certification. I'm going to go to mine, guys. I don't know if y'all can move my slides forward, but I'm going to go to mine that I can see because it's really hard with this clickable thing to see them. So 4 parts. There's the trainings, there's the workbooks, there's GoPro certified, and there's the actual certification. Immediately, you're going to get access to the on-demand sales mastery. You're going to get access to the recruiting mastery. Those have already been done live. You're going to get the live version of retention mastery this year, and then the lifetime recordings, duplication mastery, leadership mastery, and then you'll have presentation mastery. You will be certified in all 6, which will take you from amateur to pro. And in addition to that, you're going to get the student workbooks with all of those, Eric's lifetime work. And then in October, we actually have our GoPro certification first ever 2-day event where we award all of those who are certified or master certified, and we go deeper into all 6 areas of what's working now. And you will walk across the stage, hopefully, with many certifications. And for those of you that really take it serious, you will be master certified that day. And so hopefully the studio's tracking with my slide deck because I'm going through what I can go through right here. Over $32,000 of value. This is the mastering of the skill sets. And then Eric Worre, the only mentorship program that he has, this is where it's the implementation of those skill sets. Mentorship includes 6 core things. It's daily mentoring with Eric. It's 2 live coaching calls a week. It's access to Eric's entire GoPro digital library. It's the quarterly community challenges. It's the GoPro certified community. And it's Eric AI. I want you to know every day you're getting a video from Eric motivating you and inspiring you. 2 times a week, we're having group coaching calls to help you implement the skill sets. Dominate social media, understand AI. You get access to all of Eric's lifelong work in the digital library. Every quarter, we do a challenge to grow your business and make your business better. Every quarter. And one of those that we do is a 90-day challenge. You become part of the GoPro certified community. You have access to all of the other certified people within the community. And one of the cool things that you get instant expertise. Eric, you carry Eric in your pocket. I never thought that was possible, but I get the chance to carry Eric in my pocket. He slimmed down a lot. I just didn't know he slimmed down that much. He looks great. Guys, the mentorship, if certification is the mastering of the skills, mentorship is the implementation of the skills. And we're saying to all of you that made an investment just into presentation mastery, you've gotten one piece of a bigger piece, a bigger pie. You've only gotten one piece today. And so we want to encourage you guys to jump in to GoPro certification and mentorship. It's over $53,000 worth of legitimate value. You can do that for one payment of $7,500. And if you're like, no, Pete, I just want to do the actual certification, you can do that for one payment of $5,000, but you do not get the mentorship. 95% of people are taking both options because they want to have the best year of their life, Eric. And so you can do that for one payment. So I want to encourage you to do the GoPro certification and mentorship. And I want to remind you a couple of things. Not only do we give you a quarterly one-on-one mentor call, who's your accountability every quarter. You actually get one of Eric's coaches that he's trained to do your one-on-one accountability call every quarter that keeps you sticking to your plan. But for those of you that upgrade today and make a decision today, we remove this, but we're building it back in for all of you that chose to do presentation mastery. We're gonna give you the branding day as well. You have access to join us virtually or in the studio for the branding day. And I'm telling you, that is something that you're not going to wanna miss because it will build your brand in one day. And so we do have a one pay, we have 6 payment options, and Eric, I'm 3 slides away here. But for all of you that are here today, don't forget, you get a $1,500 credit from your investment that you made today. So today becomes free for you if you choose to upgrade, because we're gonna apply that to either one of these. But you do not get the branding day with the one on the right. You get the branding day with the one on the left. And so make sure you go to GoProcertified.com/upgrade, GoProcertified.com/upgrade. And here's the cool thing, the team told me, we do a payment plan of 6, but there are payment plans available that could, if you have the right credit score, you could get this for a few $100s a month. And you can see on the screen right there, it points to what you want to register for or sign up for. But we want to encourage you to take advantage and upgrade into the next level, because the certification for the next year, the impact that it can have on your business is so profound. And if you want to speak to somebody on your dashboard, you just need to click advisor. And I'm sure Marina Wari's in there, Danny's in there, Rachel's in there. Our team is in there to answer your questions for all of you that are upgrading. But for all of you that are certified and in the mentorship program, please mark your calendars. Do not miss the branding day or the GoPro certified 2-day event. I think they're back to back intentionally. Do not miss those, because they will be game changer for you as part of what you get in this program. And so, Eric, I want to turn it back to you. I hope all of those folks that took that step had such an amazing experience that they make a decision to upgrade and be all in with us for the next year, Eric.
Check, check, check. Hey, so listen, the only reason why we're talking about this, because most of you are already in certification and mentorship. And if you are, throw into the chat, on a scale of 1 to 10, what are you getting when it comes to value so far? This is our 3rd full day that we've gone through. We've gone through sales, recruiting, and presentation is the third one. We still have retention, duplication, and leadership that we're going to be going through. We just had a lot of people just get the presentation mastery by itself, individually. So we wanted them to understand what they could get involved with if they want to take this step and really master all of this. So I want to give you some dates because I saw in the chat people were asking about dates. The branding day is on October 17th. And the certification celebration days are the 15th and 16th. So the 2 days before that, and the 17th is the branding day here. And being on this stage, being able to share this like some of the legends in network marketing, I'm excited about being able to do that with you. I want to encourage you, before I kind of formally close this out for the course and everything else, those of you who are just in presentation mastery, go get your questions answered. You know, you can apply what you've already paid towards presentation mastery towards the rest of this. Trust what everybody else is experiencing here. Go talk to a program advisor. Go figure out the financing options. There's lots of different financing options. Talk to our team. They'll help you. If there's a will, there's a way. I just encourage you to take that step. It's going to be a big, big step for you. All right? There's no more powerful investment than an investment in you. Your skills, your ability, your mastery, being able to turn that into a business that lasts. Okay? So, do that. Get into that. You go in and talk to our advisors, figure it out. I hope you do that, those of you in presentation mastery, and I'll look forward to seeing you at future mastery days and the celebration and the branding day. And I didn't know until just now that the team was adding branding day for everybody else because we did close that off. But I'm glad that they did that because it's going to be a really great experience for people. Now, I'm just going to pivot and close. Give me 2 minutes, okay? 3 minutes, and then we're done. You guys have been amazing, fourth quarter champions. Super proud of you. How many people have at least 10 pages of notes? Raise your hands if you have at least 10 pages of notes. How many going to go apply it? All right, fantastic. Let's do a formal close. So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes presentation mastery. I want to remind you what we've covered over the course of this full program. We've talked about why becoming a presenter is such a valuable skill. We talked about how to tell your story and have your story be a business card of sorts where you build a connection with other people. We've talked about how to do an opportunity presentation. Gave you a challenge to go do a weekly opportunity presentation, virtual or in person, and incorporate people on your team to start to train them up to be better presenters. We've talked about the importance of a getting started presentation that will inspire a person to take action when they might be nervous, they might be a little bit insecure. You're going to give them the confidence to do that. We talked about building up skills within your organization, learning to become an excellent trainer. And the combination of what Lisa Nichols talked about and also Pete Vargas talked about, how do you incorporate emotion and story and an emotional journey to that skill? How do you apply those different things? It's a way for you to kind of start to practice some of the big keynote ideas in some of the skill-based training that you do. You learned from the legend Lisa Nichols on how to craft things properly. She's just an absolute gem and a dear friend, and I'm so honored that she would come and share this information with you. And Pete, who has helped so many people, Pete Vargas, helped so many people craft their presentation, and what Pete has a unique genius of doing, and you're going to see this over and over, is he knows how to turn a talk into action. When a person finishes that, listening to that talk, they take an action. And is that not what we want to do? We want to give a presentation and have a person join. We want to have a person make a decision to go pro. We want to have a person say, I'm not going to be limited by my fears anymore. I'm not going to be limited by the judgment of others or other people's opinions anymore. I'm going to take charge of my life. Pretty little speeches change the world. These little talks, these little ideas. And what have we been doing with you all day? Presenting to you. You know why we presented to you? To hopefully cause you to not only get the notes, but to make a decision that, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to master this. And after making a decision, taking action, imperfect action, getting into the activity necessary to learn. I will tell you, I am humbled every single day I get to come up on a stage. What Pete talked about, other people's stages, that's where I started. But guess what? There was a lot of stages I couldn't get on. So guess what I needed to do? I needed to build my own. I built my own stage. I had dreams of being on Broadway when I was a kid. In my teens, I wanted to be on Broadway. Didn't have the skills for that, but guess what? I speak to more people than a Broadway superstar will perform to in a year. I get to do it. I get to do it with things that I want to do in a way that helps people, not just entertains them for a few minutes. You can too. So wherever you're at today, in this moment, the fact that you got this program, the fact that you're part of certification, the fact that you're committed to your future, tells me, the fact that you lasted through the whole program tells me that you have what it takes, that you're willing, coachable, and hungry. The world needs to hear your story. I personally can't wait to hear it myself. I'm very, very proud of all of you. I'll look forward to seeing you in the next course. And ladies and gentlemen, have an amazing day. Mwah.